Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar discussing the Fronius unique approach to service. Just to do introductions, my name is David Porter. I'm one of the technical advisors here at Fronius, and I'm joined by Andrea Waller. And during the course of today's presentation, if you have any questions, please make sure that you send those through to us. You can do that on the right-hand side of the screen. You should see the little questions window, so enter any questions you have into there. So first of all, just want to talk about what's different about Fronius to other manufacturers, how we work with service cases and how we support you as installers. So as a European manufacturer, we need to provide the best possible service and also sustainability for our products. And we see that that's all interlinked. And there's three core areas to this. Firstly, offering a quality product. So we undertake rigorous R&D for our inverters, lots of accelerated wear testing to make sure that they have a product life years. We then look to ensure that every inverter is tested before it leaves our factory at full power, so that we minimize the risk of dead on arrival inverters, make sure that the inverter works first time when you get it out of the box. And of course, having that manufacturing based in Europe means that we've got oversight of our manufacturing facilities. We can ensure that there is a quality and ethical manufacturing process in place. We also aim to have a very fast reaction time if you have faults. So we have our UK-based tech support team who are based here in Milton Keynes, and we're able to provide you with next day shipping of parts. If you order a replacement inverter by lunchtime, we should have that in stock and be able to supply that on a next day basis. Worst case, if you do need to order something that's not on the shelf here, we're only having to deal with our factory in Europe, not with products coming from the other side of the world. And also we need to look at cost. So a lot of people will look at Fronius products and say, yeah, out of the box, they're quite expensive. But if you look over the whole product lifespan for a PV system, the fact we have those component level repairs, the fact that you have fewer site visits, and also there's more uptime for the inverter, it's generating more, better availability, means that Fronius PV systems are cost competitive. And we've recently had some very good feedback on our technical support. So the guys in the office are very pleased when we've received a few different awards for the quality of our service. So hopefully we're doing the right things. In terms of our team, I think you probably know myself or my colleague Ewan, who are the technical advisors. We come out and about around the country supporting installers with system designs, configurations, trainings, and focusing on new projects. We also have our tech support guys, Mark and Andy, who are based here in Milton Keynes, and they're real experts on the older legacy inverters. So between the four of us, we've got over 50 years experience in solar energy, and we've all been here at Fronius for a long time as well, over 30 years between us. So we know the product ranges as well. Don't forget, support you if you're new to Fronius on that first install. So if you have you're a new customer and you're getting familiar with the products, we're happy to support you to make sure you've got that confidence moving forward. And we also, of course, have all those parts held here locally. So we're really committed to the UK market. The other key aspect of service is you, the installers and the FSPs. And it's important to consider that you're the guys who will normally be undertaking warranty exchange works and post-warranty service. An FSP has the benefit that you can exchange individual boards within inverters, and you have that extra knowledge of the products, more detailed training. As a system partner, you also have priority within our hotline systems. You also can be advertised on our website so that any leads that come through can be sent to the local FSPs. You have SolarWeb Premium access free of charge, and we can also provide you with marketing materials, discounted clothing, and added trainings. So hopefully you can see that there's some real benefits to using the system partner. To stay as a system partner, or to become a system partner rather, we need you to have about 1 year's experience in PV industry as a minimum. We want to see 5 Fronius systems installed with registrations on SolarWeb, and we want you to have undertaken 40 credits worth of training. Now, the FSP course itself provides you with 20 credits, And then webinars such as this and other in-person trainings can also add to that to keep your tally going throughout the course of the year. So we'll now have a quick look at the warranty options for our inverters. So if you have our larger commercial inverters, so 13 kilowatts and larger, we have a couple of different options available for warranties. When you get the inverter out of the box, it will come with a 2-year Fronius Warranty Plus. This means that we cover the cost of the parts, the shipping, and also a lump sum payment to you for the efforts of going out and making those exchanges. During the first 2 years, you can register the inverter on SolarWeb and extend up to either 5 years with the Fronius Warranty Plus, or a total of 7 years with our Fronius Standard Warranty, making up the remaining 5 years. The Standard Warranty only covers the parts, not the shipping or the lump sum payments. Of course, with any of the warranty options, you can extend up to 10, 15, 20 years at an additional cost. So those options are there for you as well. On the smaller inverters, so on the Primos Gen 24s and Simo Gen 24s, we have a 10-year warranty now. So we start again with those 2 years out of the box, and then we have an additional 3 years when you register with the Fronius Warranty Plus, and then additional 5 years, which gives you the total of 10 years with the standard warranty. So again, the most important thing is to make sure that you register that inverter in the first 2 years. And we do get questions of how do we go about doing that warranty registration. Well, the good news is Fronius International have put together a nice little how-to video. So if you go to YouTube and just search for Fronius warranty registration, you'll be able to find that, but I'll also play that for you now.
Welcome to today's how-to video, where I will introduce you to the process of product registration and free warranty extension. Let's get started. First, please log in to your SolarWeb account via your web browser. Then click on Product Registration in the right upper corner. There, select the Register Product option and fill in all required information. For Gen 24 and Tauro inverters, you will need a V code in addition to the serial number. You can find these numbers either on the inverter's nameplate or on the packaging. After you have entered the information, click on Register and then on to the Free Warranty Extension button. Now you will be redirected to the Fronius webshop. Here you will see the 5+5 warranty model. 5 years Fronius Warranty Plus for material, service and transport, plus another 5 years Fronius warranty to cover material costs. Please note that the Fronius warranty model may vary depending on your country. Add the warranty package to your shopping cart and then go to the shopping cart. In the next step, click on Proceed to Checkout. Check all the information again here and tick the box for the terms of use. Then click on Place Order button. Your free warranty extension is now complete and you can download your warranty certificate in SolarWeb. To do this, go back to your SolarWeb system and click on Product Registration again. There you will find your registered inverters in the drop-down menu, depending on whether it has already been linked to your SolarWeb system or not. Here you can download the warranty certificate for the respective inverter.
So it's a pretty straightforward process, as I think you can see. Sometimes installers ask, well, should it be the end customer or themselves who undertake that warranty registration? We suggest that the installer undertakes warranty registration, because if you do it once, you'll be familiar with it. If you leave it to the end customer, you'll probably end up having to explain the whole process to them for each individual project. So probably easiest if you run through that registration as the installer. So when you've installed your inverter, you've registered for the warranty, what happens if you're unfortunate and you do have to undertake an inverter exchange? Well, the key thing is that Fronius requires a certain level of trust between both parties. We work in a different way to other manufacturers. We assume that the information you give us is genuine. If you tell us an inverter is faulty, we'll accept that and we will supply you with a replacement inverter. Other manufacturers may require the old inverter back first. That's not the case with Fronius. So when you go to site, you'll turn up, you'll assess the situation, and you'll either use our SOS tool or you'll contact our tech support team and report the issue and request the parts. Our tech support team will then ship those components on a next day basis. Those will arrive with you. You can go to site, you can install those parts, and you can return the old parts to us at Fronius UK. We then ship those parts over to Austria, to our repair centre international, where they'll be analysed, they'll be repaired, and when they confirm that there is a genuine warranty fault, the service payment will be issued, and that will be paid back to you. So as you can see, the priority for us is getting that replacement inverter to you as quickly as possible to get the system back online. It's a very similar process for FSPs if they want to just replace an individual board. The key difference is that you get the higher service fee payment to you if you replace a board rather than an inverter. Now, this all works really well as long as we do have a genuine warranty issue with the inverter. Occasionally, we will have situations where a perfectly good inverter has been sent back to us because an external AC isolator has failed, or there's a problem with the array, damaged cables, whatever it may be, or a lightning strike. And in those instances, there's not a problem with the inverter, it's not a warranty issue, and there are costs involved in that. So unfortunately, if it's an external issue, those charges need to be forwarded back to you, the installer, and obviously onto the end customer. And we want to avoid that happening. If we start having to countercharge you, it gets you upset, you don't want to use our products. So we want to minimize the risk of that happening. And as a result, we put together a service exchange process video, which tries to highlight the key things to do to make sure you have a successful warranty exchange and to make sure that we don't have any of those no fault found charges or external influence charges. So I will show that to you again now. In this video, we'll show you how to successfully exchange a Fronius inverter. This video is designed for customers of Fronius UK, so working in the UK and Irish markets. If you're watching from elsewhere, please check with your local subsidiary as the terms and conditions may vary. The process is fairly similar, whether you're exchanging an entire inverter or individual boards. In order to have a successful warranty claim, Fronius have produced a warranty checklist. In this, we can show you a number of items that are not covered by the warranty. For example, damage to the casing, such as cracks or drill holes. These are external factors which will not be included within a warranty claim. The next thing to check is for any damage to the overvoltage protection circuits. Have a look at the filter board and see if you see any damage to the varistors or the capacitors on the DC and the AC side. Next, check all the torque settings within the inverter. The back plate must be securely fastened to the inverter, otherwise we can see water ingress or arcing between all the electrical connectors. Also, the front of the inverter must be securely fastened. We don't want to see any water ingress into the unit itself or down into the DATCOM cover. Finally, make sure to check for any damage to the display. Look at the device. If you see any impacts or cracks to the screen, those again will not be covered by the warranty. So once we've checked that the fault isn't caused by an external factor, we can have a look at the state code of the fault itself. So go to your inverter and have a look at the screen. You'll probably see an error code listed on the device. The easiest way to check what that means is to go to the Solar SOS app. Here you can enter the serial number of the inverter, so you can check the warranty status. You can then enter the state code, get a description on what that fault may be, and then run through a troubleshooting process. Simply swipe through the troubleshooting menus to see each step to check. If you get to the end of the process and you haven't been able to resolve the issue, you can request an exchange device or a repair. You can also contact the tech support team if you have any further questions. Simply choose the device that you want to replace. This could be an individual board if you're a Fronius system partner, or a complete inverter if you're not. Enter any information such as the state codes, any photographs or descriptions you want to add to the case, and give the address that you want the device to go to. This could be, for example, your warehouse or the end customer's address. Finally, you'll see a new case listed, and you'll be able to track the shipping for your device. Once you've received your Exchange inverter, you can go to site and replace the units. Go to the existing inverter and make sure that the DC and the AC are both isolated. You can then unscrew the DATCOM cover. There are 4 fasteners for this. Remove the cover. You may find that some devices will have Cat5 cables for data communications. If so, you'll need to remove those from the device. Once you've done that, you can remove the 2 fasteners that hold the inverter to the backplate. And the inverter will now be free to move on the backplate. Because some of the inverters are very heavy, over 40 kilograms, we recommend at least 2 people to remove the inverters. Now we can go to the Exchange inverter, open the box. Be careful not to damage any of the cardboard or polystyrene. Again, it's a 2-person lift to remove the inverter from the box. Once the inverter is out of all the packaging, remove the DATCOM cover and also remove the inverter from the transit backplate. You can now install the inverter onto the original unit's backplate. Once on the wall, make sure that the retaining screws are firmly connected. They must be torqued to the settings as stated in the manual. You'll see that the inverter has a transport front cover. You need to remove this and install the original inverter's front cover, as that has all of your original warning labels and stickers. If the inverter has a data manager installed, make sure to remove that before replacing the inverter. If you removed the data manager card earlier, now reinstall this in the replacement device. Don't forget the retaining screw on the bottom of the data manager card. Make sure to install all the screws, again with the correct torque settings. Next, replace any connectors from the original inverter and make sure that the DATCOM cover is securely connected, fastened tight on the device. So the inverter is now ready to be switched back on, both on the AC and the DC, and you need to run through the commissioning process as if it was a brand new inverter. Next, make sure that the inverter is securely connected onto the transit backplate. Ensure that the retaining screws are tightly fastened, and then replace the transit DATCOM cover as well. Make sure the polystyrene ends are on the inverter and then place the unit in the box. The final thing to do is to complete the returns form. Make sure you have the serial number of the inverter, the state code, your address, contact details, and ideally also the case reference number for the inverter. Put this into the inverter box. So, if you follow these simple steps, you should have a smooth service experience. Don't forget to download the Solar SOS app for your next service case. So there you have it. That's how to exchange a snap inverter. Pretty simple process, I think. The key things obviously are to make sure that you undertake those warranty checks. So look at any particular damage that might be occurring to the inverter due to outside influences. Make sure there's no drill holes, over voltage damage from lightning strikes or surges. Make sure that everything has been torqued up correctly. One of the key issues we see is water ingress, where either the bolts have been stripped, the threads have been stripped, or the covers have been left loose on inverters. And of course, any cracks or damage to those displays. And also make sure that the inverter goes back within the packaging that the inverter was received, the warranty inverter was received in. Just use that same packing, and that means that we'll be confident that we'll get the inverter back in one piece when it's been traveling through the courier network. Make sure that all of the screws for the inverter on the back plate are connected. Make sure that the DATCOM cover is secure, and make sure that it's put back into the polystyrene. We've had inverters sent through just cling filmed or put loose in an old cardboard box, and unfortunately that can lead to some quite nasty damage to the devices. For example, we've seen inverters where the whole of the back of the device has been smashed to pieces. And of course, those inverters cannot be repaired and put back into our service pool. Instead, unfortunately, that's scrap. It's a lost product, so that the installer received charges for that damage. So please make sure you use that packaging for that exchange inverter. And as you saw in the video, the SOS tool is a key way of ordering parts, also for checking the fault codes that are taking place with your inverter. And it's one of the three main apps that we have. So we have Solar Start, which is for commissioning the inverter, getting it up and running. We then have Solar Web for monitoring for installers and end customers to view how the system's performing. And then Solar SOS, which is for servicing, troubleshooting the system. And the great thing with that is you can do the full process from checking the serial number of the inverter, the warranty status, all the way through fault codes and ordering the parts. And if you use that service as well, your case will be prioritized within our tech support team, because we have all the information at hand. We can get that sorted out very quickly. If you go through the calls or through emails, there may be a bit more of a lag on that. So always try and use SOS where you can. And the great thing is we also have the offline mode with SOS. So if you're in a remote location in the middle of a field and there's no internet, you can download beforehand all the state codes of all the inverters, and you can check those state codes, run through the troubleshooting on site. And don't forget as well, you can just create any cases manually within SOS. So if it's not related to a state code, if it's a question about Solar Web or maybe a new installation, you can still create the SOS case, and you get that prioritization as well. So we can deal with your queries very quickly. So we next want to talk about some of the updates to our repair processes. And this really relates to various different devices, more focusing on the legacy inverters rather than the just to explain, we have that repair center in Austria, Repair Center International, and this is where, of course, we can repair all products, all Fronius products, whether it's solar inverters, welding or battery technology products, but also all of our older legacy devices, whether they're in warranty or out of warranty. This, of course, increases the sustainability of Fronius devices, it extends the service life, and it can reduce costs, in particular for those bigger units where you can return individual components. Of course, if you're an FSP, you can undertake on-site repairs. So if the inverter is hard to access, maybe it's on a rooftop, those board level repairs are the other options available to you. But we do have to see some changes now with our older inverters, our legacy inverters. Most importantly, all under warranty inverters will continue to be exchanged with equivalent devices. So if you have a 19-year-old Fronius IG inverter and it's got a fault, we will exchange that with another Fronius IG inverter. We're still committed to that, still supporting you if you have that warranty in place. No issues there. However, due to limited component availability, spare parts for older inverters are now prioritized for in-warranty devices. Well, what this means is that out-of-warranty repairs need to be treated slightly differently. This really focuses on devices such as the IGs, the IG Plus, and the CL. And that's because the components for those circuit boards are now quite hard to source. As a result, any of those components, any of those boards will now need to be returned to Fronius Repair Center in order to be repaired. We can't ship you a replacement part for an out of warranty inverter in those classes. The good news is some components are still available. Those off-the-shelf components, so for example, the data managers, which we have plenty of, the contactors, the fans, the fuses, those sorts of components are still available. So it's only the circuit boards that are affected by this. But what I'd like to do is just go through inverter by inverter, explaining what we would recommend we do if you find a fault with those inverters. So starting with the IG inverters, these devices are all 12+ years old, but some have those 15 or 20-year warranties. And we would say if you have a fault out of warranty, it's not really advised to repair on site. We would normally recommend exchanging those with a new Gen 24 Primo or Simo inverter. Of course, those new inverters, they have a 10-year warranty, so whereas a repair board would only have a single-year warranty. You've potentially got the benefit of adding a battery in future if you wanted to. So it makes a lot of sense to update to a Gen 24. Just be aware if you do have a thin film installation, thin film panels do not normally work well with transformerless inverters. So you may prefer to repair your transformer-based IG device if you have thin film panels on the rooftop. We then move on to the IG Plus inverters. These are an extension of the IG technology. These come as single, 2 or 3 phase inverters in power classes of 3 to 12 kilowatts. And we have 2 components. We have the connection box at the bottom and then the power stack on top. The power stack contains 3 pinky boards, well, 1, 2 or 3 pinky boards, depending on the power class. An installer can exchange that whole top power stack. An FSP can replace individual pinky boards. However, if it's out of warranty, those components have to go back to Austria. They have to be repaired and then put back in situ on the inverter now. So that's the change with the IG Plus. If it's a single or a 3-phase device, you may now be best to replace again with a Gen 24. We've got power classes that will match with all of those inverters. But if you have a 2-phase device, so you may well prefer to have the inverter repaired rather than replacing with 2 single-phase units. Moving on to our CL inverters. These are all over 10 years old now, larger 36, 48 and 60 kilowatt inverters. And some of these do have those long warranties, so you can get all the parts for those warranties. But we would still recommend repairing these inverters rather than trying to exchange, because there is not a straightforward swap repowering inverter. We normally recommend repairing and exchanging components, but some of those devices need to be returned to Fronius International. So I just want to try and explain which devices are repairable on site and which need to go back. So anything highlighted in green can be ordered and supplied to site. So fans, fan vent covers, AC contactors or auxiliary contacts, and DC switches. You see those at the top of the image there. The components that we need to return are the snowball board, which regulates the fan speeds and the control, and the power racks, so the individual small inverters within the CL device. The good news is that if you remove a power rack to have it returned for repair, the inverter often works in a workaround method. So it uses the other available power racks and continues to generate. So the inverter should be able to still generate energy when the power rack is returned for repair. The IGTL inverters, so these are getting on as well, so all over 9 years old now. The good news is all components are still available for these, whether they're in or out of warranty. So some of these devices are 15 or 20 years old and have a 15 or 20-year warranty. So they'll still be available to replace for a considerable length of time yet. They use that snap-in design similar to the snap inverters, so you can easily replace those inverters. If you do want to replace an IGTL with a more up-to-date inverter, we would recommend using the snap-in Primo. That's because it has a higher voltage startup point. With the IGTLs, you need to have a higher voltage window, so the snap inverter Primo is the best inverter to do that exchange with. And then we move on to our largest inverter, the Agilo, the 75 and 100 kilowatt device. These are available as an indoor and outdoor version, and the good news is all components are still available for on-site repair by installers and FSPs. So you can replace any of those components on-site. Nothing needs to be returned to RCI for repair. You can simply exchange that from our tech support stock. The most common issue we get with the Agilos is the 493 relay fault, and this can even be normally resolved using a software update rather than exchanging that DC relay. So I mentioned the word repowering quite a lot in that section. We obviously can repower whole PV systems. You can exchange the panels to increase the power from your rooftop, but obviously we're focusing on the inverter and looking at using a newer inverter, which may be more efficient, which has a higher power class, or the option of adding batteries, and of course with an extended warranty. And I mentioned some of the options for repowering those existing inverters. Just to highlight that again, with the IGs, we'd recommend changing to a Gen 24. With the IGTLs, because of the higher startup voltage, we'd recommend using a snap-in Primo. IG pluses, again, Gen 24s work well. And the CL, because it's a little bit more complicated, it's only got that single DC input on it, we maybe have to split out at the string combiner box and feed either 2 Verto inverters or 1 Toro device. So if you have any projects where you're looking at repowering, we're very happy to support. But we're particularly excited by the new Verto, which is our new inverter for commercial applications. And it's available in power classes of 25, 27, 30, and 33 kilowatts. And we have 4 MPP trackers. We have 2 inputs per tracker and a very wide operating range. So we can use this inverter to replace pretty much any other manufacturer's inverters in those power classes. I'd like to just show you that device in a little bit more detail. Let's have a quick look at the unit I have here. So this is the Verto. If we take the front cover off, I can take the top cover off the power rack. We still have the waterproofing from the aluminium cover. We can then remove the lower connection cover. We have these very handy 180-degree screws, which you'll be familiar with if you've installed a Gen 24. These mean that you get fast access to the connections area, and it also means you don't have any issues with torquing. So all of those things we covered in the video, and those concerns, those concerns are now removed because we have that secure connection every time with 180-degree screws. Inside the inverter, well, we've got the MC4s on the bottom. They feed into built-in surge protection on the DC side. On the AC side, we have a large connection area up to 35mm squared cables. We have our AC surge protection as standard, and we have our pilot board as well for the communications built into every inverter. We've also got a large area underneath where we can install 4G routers, Ethernet switches, third-party data loggers, plenty of space in there. And we have a 12-volt power supply from the pilot board as well. So we can power those devices with that 12-volt supply, have everything enclosed neatly within the inverter. So we really see a real benefit with this device for repowering existing sites as well as for new installations. Now, if you have any projects where you're looking to repower, please get in contact with us. We'll be very happy to support and advise with the best products. But we do also have our repowering tools. So if you go to repowering.fronius.com, you can enter in the details of an existing inverter that you're looking to replace. And then the tool will advise you with the best options, maybe multiple options from Fronius to repower those inverters. But certainly, if you have any questions or queries on the repowering process, please let us know. We'd be very happy to support, and maybe we can help configure the most cost-effective solution for you. Well, that pretty much brings me to the end of the webinar today. We'll just see if we have any questions. So, Andrea, do we have any questions coming through?
No, none at all. I think you've explained everything very clearly, so there's no questions. But as you say, if anyone needs to contact us afterwards with other questions, yeah. No questions.
No questions at all.
No.
Okay. Well, if you do have any questions coming through, you've got the contact details for our Fronius tech support team on the screen there, and we'd be very happy to support you with any of those issues going forward. Well, thank you very much for your time today, and hopefully we'll see you again on the next Fronius UK webinar. Thank you.